All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 141 of the On Air Advocate. We're at the On Air Advocate. We look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited if you are joining us early here this Friday morning, or if you are catching this on the replay. Now, as always, if you think any of the content that we are talking about could be useful for your network or your circle, please hit the share button and share the love with others. Now, as most of you know, we have been entrenched in our Back to School and Transition series, and I am so excited to have this brand new program that is launching this year from Texas A&M, the Aggie Achieve Program, here with us today. We have Dr. Gilson. She is the founder and faculty director of the program, and Matthew Carrizal. I don't know if I said that right. I'm trying my best, but that's okay. And he is a student that is starting with the Aggie Achieve program. So welcome, you guys.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Tammy.
Morning.
Good morning,
everyone.
Good morning.
So I know that the program is a longer program than most that I've heard of. I don't know if it's the first one in the United States or the first one in the state of Texas, but in a few minutes we'll dive into that. But Dr. Carly, I just wanted to start out with finding out a little bit more about you, your background, what brought you into this Aggie Achieve program.
Sure. So I've been in Texas for just over 2 years, and prior to coming here, I was at Vanderbilt University as a doctoral student, and I worked very closely with the Next Steps program there, which at the time was 2 years, but has recently shifted into a 4-year program. So when I came here and started working on Aggie Achieve, in many ways, I modeled the Aggie Achieve program after Next Steps. So similar goals, similar type of approach to inclusion and person-centered planning. So that was one of my big inspirations.
Okay, and now, just so I make sure that I have it correct, Matthew, you are in the first class, right, that's going through this program?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's exciting. I mean, whenever you're the first at anything, that's exciting. So Dr. Carly, can you explain a little bit more about the program? What is it? You know, who is it for? Who is it serving?
Sure. So Aggie Achieve is a 4-year inclusive post-secondary program for young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And our goals focus on academics, as well as employment and independent living. And the first 2 years of the program, students spend a lot of time taking coursework at Texas A&M alongside their peers. So for example, in our first cohort of 5 students, we've got students taking theater history like Matthew, educational psychology, and special education. And then they also take physical education classes as well. So we've got students taking archery, basketball, and the other one, archery and basketball. Oh, and social dance. And then beginning in the spring of their first year, students will start to have an on-campus internship that will start off with just about 3 or 5 hours a week. And from there, each semester, they'll continue to have an internship at a different site, but the hours that they spend in that internship will grow. And by the 3rd and 4th year, our goals are that our students are working or interning in the community, and they're working in a place that's really individualized, somewhere that fits well with their strengths and interests.
Now, is this just, I'm so sorry for interrupting, do they live on campus for the whole time, like all year long, or is it just for like a normal school semester and then they go back home for summertime?
Yeah, so they live on campus just for the academic year. Right now, we don't have any summer programming. For our first cohort, we started them off with the same types of orientation that other incoming freshmen have when they attend Texas A&M. So a big thing here, it's sort of an unofficial orientation, is called Fish Camp. And that's a way for freshmen to learn about the school, learn about the many, many traditions of Texas A&M, and meet friends as well. Texas A&M is a very large university, so they do a lot to make sure that students have smaller networks to build from. So we have about 67,000 students here, and I think something like over 10,000 just in the freshman class. And Matthew can definitely tell you more about Fish Camp because he just went there last week. But it's a way to meet other people and just really get familiar with Texas A&M and all of its unique traditions. So students do that, and then they also do the formal orientation with the university, which is called New Student Conference. And then the week that we're in right now is called Howdy Week. So it's just an extended orientation, kind of like a freshman welcome week before classes begin next week.
Howdy Week. I love that. I guess in Wisconsin we'd have like Cheese Week or something.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So before we kind of get into requirements and all of those types of things, Matthew, do you want to share your experiences that have happened, since you've been there? How was that that first week for you, the Howdy Week, and getting to know everybody?
It was like pretty fun as well. After I got back from Fish Camp, I was like exhausted, and everybody else was exhausted, and we just wanted like to relax. And at the time when we got back, we still had to pack as well. Some people either went home or either moved in after they got back as well.
Okay. And what kind of things did you guys do at the Fish Camp?
There was a lot of things. Like there was yelling. There was the yell practice we had to do every day, and the only time that we got free time was either in our cabins or go get ice pops or hang out in the aquarium.
Okay, so is this at more of like a campsite?
Yes, a campsite.
Oh, okay.
About 2 hours away from the university.
Okay, how cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
So then coming back, what are kind of some of the experiences that you guys do during your Howdy Week? Like that's different. Obviously the Fish Camp, you did that. Now it's kind of that first week of getting to know everybody, right?
Right.
What are some of those experiences? Do you guys have like groups and teams that meet together and do outings, that sort of thing?
Yes, groups and teams that do outing together.
Okay. Okay. And what are some of the classes you're looking forward to taking? I know that you have some different hobbies and interests and whatnot. What are you kind of excited about doing this year?
I'm mostly excited about my filmmaking and animation courses as well.
Okay. So that's a big interest in that area.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and how does that, Dr. Carly, how does that program work? How in depth is that? So the film, do they learn like how to do production and all of that sort of thing?
Yeah, he's not taking that class just yet, so I'm not entirely sure, but we're hoping to get it set up. He's starting off the fall semester taking theater history.
Okay.
And then we've got some contacts in the Department of Visualization, so hopefully we can get him enrolled in those classes. Now, at this point, we're not able to offer the full course catalog to our students, so how we are approaching it is we're taking each student's interest, like for Matthew, it's film, and then we're going to pursue the faculty in that department and see if they would be willing to offer their course to someone in the Aggie Achieve program. And from there, we'll build on, and those will be his elective.
Okay, now in this first inaugural year, how many students are in the Aggie Achieve program that is kicking this first year off?
We have 5 students.
5 students as your pilot year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what is your hope for it to grow to in numbers, like as the years go on?
Yeah, each year we expect to grow incrementally, and we'll assess that as we get closer to the decision timeline. But I'm anticipating that even when the program is running at capacity, the incoming cohorts will still be relatively small, so about 10 to 12 students in each cohort. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that we're still able to provide that individualized support and a truly comprehensive experience to the integrity that we give all of our students. So this first year we have 5, maybe next year we'll grow to about 7 or 8 and then grow, incrementally each year from there.
Okay. And what are some of the requirements? So if a young adult is listening today and is like, oh, that sounds interesting. I've always wanted to go into, a 4-year program or have that college experience. Or there's the parents of those young adults listening. What are some of the important things that you think that those parents or those young adults should know about the program, their kind of requirements or eligibility, standards?
Sure. Well, first, before I get into that, I just want to say that Aggie Achieve is one of many programs across the country that does offer a 4-year opportunity at a university. So first thing I would do is encourage prospective applicants and their families to check out a website called thinkcollege.net. Think College is the national coordinating center for post-secondary programs like Aggie Achieve and like Next Steps. And we've, in the past few weeks, we've been getting a lot of emails from people outside of Texas, and we've been encouraging them actually to look at their own state and see what they offer, because there's a good likelihood that there's something available in their state, and if there's not, there might be something available in a neighboring state a little bit closer. And then so each program has slightly different requirements, slightly different costs, slightly different components, but they all do share that same opportunity to attend an institution of higher education. So if someone was specifically interested in Aggie Achieve at Texas A&M, then what we're looking for is students who have a documented diagnosis of an intellectual disability and have about a 3rd grade reading comprehension level. They must have completed high school, because we don't do dual enrollment, but that's something that some programs do. So that would be good for folks to look into and see if they want something that still partners with the school district. And we're also looking for students who are able to live independently, able to administer their own medication. And like Matthew right now is living in, to call it a dorm is not really fair. It's definitely an apartment, a fully furnished apartment with 2 roommates in his apartment. And it has a kitchen. They each have their own bedroom and bathroom. So, we want students who would be able to successfully navigate through that. Each first-year student will be also living with a residential mentor. And those are other undergraduate students who kind of serve as like the RA, the resident advisor kind of role, just to help them acclimate to the apartment and help with, some independent living skills like cooking and laundry and things like that. So students primarily, would need to be independent in those areas.
Right. And I know when I spoke last week with the PATH program, they were talking about one of their standards is that the individual has to be their own guardian. Is that
yes.
what you say?
And that's also true for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
That for a lot of people draws the line.
Yes. Yes, that's thank you for bringing that up. That's an important distinction. And once again, is unique to the programs here. Not all programs are like that. So again, if that's something that's a deal breaker for people, then I encourage them to check out Think College. And Think College has a great tool too, where you can look in your state, you can sort, you can filter by 2-year program, 4-year program. You might even be able to filter by some of these eligibility criteria so that students and families can find the options that work best for them.
Okay, and I know that, some states, and I don't know, I'd have to go back to my notes to look at Texas as one of them, but some states are incorporating that supported decision making. And so I don't know how eventually that will come into play with all the different colleges that, do this, because, there's just like different aspects of the guardianship that then, the young adult will be able to do on their own, parents will be, but I think that there's only 9 or so states that have adopted. Yeah, and I'm not sure that Texas is one of them. So living off campus, own dorm, how are you liking that, Matthew?
I'm actually liking it as well. The whole dream of that this will happen. I always dreamed about living on my own, or with living on my own with people that are around, or having roommates.
And did you know the people that you moved in with before you moved in, or are they just like brand new friends?
Brand new friends, and even those that I've met before.
Okay, so and how many people live with you?
2 for right now, but yes.
Well, that's a lot of fun, and that independence and being able to decorate your own area and have your own space. I think that's awesome. That's awesome. And so, do you guys have any type of for like those that may come from out of state? Is there any type of close by apartment living if those don't go home, like in the summertime in the area?
Oh, there's lots. Yes, there's lots of apartments in the area. As I said before, having 67,000 students, there's certainly a lot of places that want to fill those students. So we do have a lot of options. The thing to note, though, is that we're not providing any formal programming over the summer. So if somebody wanted to stick around and have a job, or maybe take something like another summer program on their own, independent from this program, we can offer that. But I think eventually we might move to having some shorter orientation just for Aggie Achieve that comes at the summer. But what we're encouraging for our students over the summer is that maybe they go home, they have an internship or part-time job at home just to get some more employment skills and keep refining those vocational skills so that they come back ready to keep going.
And for this program, I know that a big question too sometimes is the funding piece of it. Can you apply for all of the different grants and all the different things to go into this program, or what are kind of the perimeters on that?
Yes, so right now we are a self-supported program, which means that we don't receive any money from the state or the university or the federal Department of Education. So that means that our funding comes from self-pay from our students and their families, as well as philanthropy. So in the past year or so since we've gotten the approval from the university, we've been raising a lot of money and working closely with the Texas A&M Foundation to set up endowments and have long-term donations. We just hired a full-time program director who is overseeing the day-to-day coordination of the program. So we now have one full-time staff member and a graduate assistant. And next year, as the program grows, we hope to add another staff member. So funding for all of that will come from philanthropy. And in the coming years, hopefully as early as next year, we're hoping to have the designation of a comprehensive transition program, which means that students can apply for need-based financial aid like Pell Grants or work study. And once we have that designation, then our students can receive a little bit of scholarship funding. And in addition to that, there are several organizations and endowment opportunities that for next year our students will be able to apply for as scholarships.
Okay. And if someone starts the process, so if they're listening and they're, doing a little bit of their own investigating and decide that they want to take it to the next step, what are some of the steps that you need to take and kind of the actions that, the young adults go through to get into that acceptance process?
Sure. So our application will go live on October 1st. And it'll be due on December 1st, which mirrors the university application process. And in between that time, over the fall semester, we're going to have open houses, and the dates are listed on our website for those. Unfortunately, right now, I think they're all full already, but we're also offering a webinar opportunity it'll have the same information as the open house, but we're not restricted with time or space. So that means that anybody can join from anywhere, all over the country if they're interested. And that one is in November, but the exact date is on the website. So those open houses, we're trying to limit to students and families specifically who are interested in applying for fall 2020. We have a lot of interest even from people who want to apply for later years. I've gotten emails from, parents of a third grader or 5-year-old who know they want to come to this program in many, many years. But for right now, we're trying to preserve that space for people who have an interest in applying for next year. And then in the spring, we'll have more open houses, and those will be a bit more open because that will include anybody, since it will pass our application window by that point. That'll include anybody who might be interested in future years, as well as just administrators or teachers from school districts, community agencies, anybody who might be interested just in learning more about the program. And so, yeah, attending the open house is not a requirement, but it's just strongly encouraged to learn more about the program. And if they can't attend the open house, they can watch the webinar. And then from there, we'll have an online application that a review committee will evaluate anonymously. And so the committee will comprise of myself and the program director, as well as other faculty, potentially graduate students who have been involved with the program, and maybe some parents of our current cohort. And then from there, students who demonstrate a lot of potential will be invited to campus for an interview. And at that interview, we'll be wanting to talk to parents separately from students as well as together. And the reason for that is just to make sure that students and their families are on the same page in terms of whether or not they want to come to the program, what they want to get out of the program. We're really looking for students who want to use this as a launching pad to inclusive employment. And that is our goal at the end of the 4-year experience, that our students are placed in an employment setting that fits well with their interests and strengths. And so at that interview, we want to make sure that's everybody's goal, that it's not just, oh, I want to come and hang out and go to college, but I want to come and really have this goal in mind. So that'll be really important to look for. And then we'll also be evaluating using all of the criteria I shared earlier. And from there, we'll offer admissions and trying to mirror the university application process as much as possible. So early spring, and then students will be invited for like a welcome orientation sometime later in the spring, and get signed up for classes and everything like that.
Okay. It's just good to know the process. I know that there is some different colleges and programs that are out there that, also require a sleepover nights, the family stays, the young adult stays, the process is rigorous, just depending on which program. And like you said, there are lots of different programs that are out there. So to check within your state and stuff as well. And most of these, because, obviously there's a need. So many programs that do continue to open up, but all of them, as you guys are doing, you have that pilot program where you can only take so many students, to start with. And there's so many that have the need for it. And so starting that out slowly, but such a good thing to make sure that everything is seamless and, and that the transition for everybody goes well. So it sounds like the school year is going to be off to a great start. All 5 students are there. All of you guys are in your dorms? Yeah, apartments. Yeah, have you got to hang out with all 5 of the other young adults that are there, right? At that, what was the camping thing called? The fishing? No.
Fish camp, yeah.
Yeah. For that. So is there any other information that either one of you would like to share about either the experiences or letting folks know anything about this program that maybe we haven't covered?
Anything you want to share, Matthew?
I think this program is really revolutionary as well. I first heard about it when my mom and my dad first heard about it, and they kind of wanted me to come here. And ever since then, I've been liking it and knowing my way around the campus.
And that's a pretty awesome thing when there's 67,000
individuals.
If you know your way around, I'd probably get lost in a hot minute.
Oh, yeah.
But, I'm sure that there's tons of stuff to see on campus.
There is.
Are you going to go to a football game?
Yes, I'm thinking about going to a football game as well.
Yeah, I see that you must like football, right? That's Houston, right?
Yeah.
That's your Houston hat. You know what? You know what's similar between me and Houston, us here in Wisconsin, is that J.J. Watt is on your Houston team, and he's from Wisconsin.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard about it before. Yeah.
Him and all of his brothers. Yep.
Wow.
That's the only correlation. Other than that, it's warm in Texas and it's cold in Wisconsin.
Different states have different climates.
They do. They do. I just wish I could borrow a little bit of yours, a little
Probably
longer.
not now. I mean, I would gladly take some of your early winter, as you said earlier, because it is definitely still full throttle summer here. Really hot and humid.
Yeah, hot, hot, hot. You guys hit over the hundreds, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully we're getting away from that for the season, but we did have a couple weeks where every day we got into triple digits. So.
Well, we can't have it all, right? I mean,
yeah, right.
There's only a place in the middle. So with that, Dr. Carly, anything else that you'd like to add about the program or let the folks know?
I would just share our website so that people can find out more. It's epsy.tamu.edu/Aggie Achieve. And you can find us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook as well. We're at Aggie Achieve on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook, it's at TAMU, Aggie Achieve.
Okay, and are you able to, when we finish this, below this Facebook Live, can you just drop in the comments each of those so people can find them real
Sure.
soon?
Yes, absolutely. And then thinkcollege.net is also the one I'll share for the national network of other programs to explore.
That sounds perfect. Well, I thank you guys very, very much, Dr. Carly and Matthew, for spending this Friday early morning with us over here at the On Air Advocate. I think this is awesome. More programs being out there and more resources for our young adults. And Matthew, I would love to hear in the next year or two how it's all going. You know, by then, I think it's going to be awesome, and your whole film production, all that other great stuff. So with that, thank you guys so much for spending the morning with us at the On Air Advocate. If any of you want to know more about the On Air Advocate, you can head right on over to onairadvocate.com, and all of our resources are right there. Or if you want to go to the top of this Facebook page, hit the blue button, and that will let you into our private group. So on that, you guys have a fabulous day. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're welcome.